Hey student, watch this video and learn 3 idioms that mean different. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. First of all, as usual, I'm really grateful that you're joining me for another English lesson. If it is your first time here watching my lesson, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to teach you and help you improve your vocabulary. Please consider subscribing because from Monday to Friday, I have other lessons, different kinds of English lessons, because I want to help you become a better and more confident English speaker. And if you are already subscribed, thank you so much for always coming back, for trusting my work, for sharing, for liking. I really appreciate it. Anyways, my friends, let's dive into the content. 3 idioms that mean different. They have the idea of different. Every week I try to bring you different vocabulary, different expressions, and the idea here is to help you expand not just your range of vocabulary, but expand your comprehension as well. So sometimes English learners ask me, Teacher Prix, do I need to use all of the expressions, idioms, phrasal verbs you teach on your lessons? No, not really. But learning all these phrasal verbs, this vocabulary, these lessons will help you better understand native speakers. So that's a very important thing as well. It's not just about using that word and talking to people and using them, but also about better understanding native speakers because they use these expressions all the time, okay? Anyway, the first idiom is apples and oranges. Very easy. 2 fruits, apples and oranges. Basically, when you say that something is like apples and oranges, you are comparing things that are completely different. So, for example, you can't compare Andrew and Michael. They are like apples and oranges. They're very different. Now, even though apples and oranges are fruits, they're very different fruits. They have different benefits, they have different tastes, they are different. They're completely different, my friends. So comparing Andrew and Michael doesn't work because they are, Michael and Andrew, they are like apples and oranges, okay? So verb to be will come with this expression very often, all right? It's not mandatory, but it's a consequence. It's a very common construction. Oh, this and that are like apples and oranges. It's not going to work. So it is very common. Another example, Tesla. Tesla is a company, okay, that makes all kinds of things, especially really high-tech cars. And its owner right now is trying to get to Mars. So Tesla and Ford trucks are like apples and oranges. So Tesla, I think quite recently, Tesla did this test between Tesla trucks and Ford trucks to prove that Tesla trucks were better and stuff like that. But they are kind of apples and oranges. They're different. They're different things. So there was a lot of hustle about this. There were many people talking about it, but it's just an example, of course. So Tesla and Ford trucks are like apples and oranges. They are completely different, okay? So let's see. Brazil and Argentina, hello, we're like apples and oranges. Completely different. We're cool. Argentinians, they're cool too. If you don't know, Brazil and Argentina have this history of having some problems, not liking each other. That's not true. I go to Argentina like every year. I love it. I love Argentina. What's the name of that? It's not a cookie. What's the name of sandwich? It's I forgot it. If you are from Argentina, and it's very nice. It's very tasty. It's with dulce de leche. I don't remember. Alfajor. Yes. Oh, I love it. Alfajor is good. Congratulations, Argentina. Anyways, moving on to the next phrasal idiom. Hello. Horse of another. Or you can also say different, or another, or different, okay? Horse of another color, or horse of a different color. And there's a little bit of a story here. When I was a student, an English student, I learned this expression, and I remember that I annoyed my English teacher because I tried to use this expression all the time. So every class we were talking, and I would try really hard to use this expression. No, teacher, but that's a horse of a different color. And he was like, Priscilla, okay, I got it. You learned, good job. Use another one. So I use this a lot. What? But that's a horse of another color, you know? So when you use a horse of another color, it's also very commonly used with verb to be. It is a horse of another color. That's a horse of another color. This is a horse of a different color. It's with the idea of being entirely different. It's a completely different subject, a completely different matter, a completely different point, okay? So, and this helps me remind of something. As I told you my story, when I was an English student, I tried really hard to use an expression, an idiom. So I didn't focus on quantity. I focused on individual idioms, and I tried to use them as much as possible. And gradually, my list kept growing. So sometimes we download these really long lists hoping that it'll be productive because we will have like all kinds of expressions and idioms, when in reality you can focus on one single nice idiom and use it as much as you can. So whenever I was talking, whenever I was writing, I would try to use horse of another color or horse of a different color. So a piece of advice I have for you is try to focus on quality, on really trying to use. Here in the comments, you can always come back and participate and leave your comments, your opinions, and use the vocabulary that you're learning, okay? And hey, if you're new, consider subscribing, because YouTube doesn't have secrets, okay? YouTube tells me everything, and it's telling me that more than 50% of people who watch, share, like my lessons are not subscribed to my channel. And by subscribing, you really help my channel grow, and you also help YouTube understand that my channel is good, so that it'll keep sharing my lessons with other people like you. So consider subscribing and liking the lesson. Anyways, let's take a look at the examples. I have always loved mathematics, okay, math. But calculus, oh man, that's a horse of another color. That's a completely different subject, okay? I love math, okay, but calculus, that's a different thing. That's a horse of a different color. That's a horse of another color. Hey, tell me, do you like math? Honestly, I don't really like math. I like Portuguese. I like history. I love history. I absolutely love history. When I was a student in high school, I would spend almost every day, every afternoon at the local library. Really. We didn't have computers back then. Oh my God, I feel so old. So I would go to the local library and I would read and read and read. I really like history. How about you? Let me know here in the comments. Another example, hey, if you want to go abroad to have a different cultural experience, hey, it's a great idea. Go for it, my friend. Now, if you want to live abroad to work, well, that's different. That's the horse of a different color, okay? And I have to agree with this example. When we travel abroad to live an experience, have fun, visit, go sightseeing, take pictures, go shopping, you know, just get to know the place. It's amazing. It's a great idea, and I definitely recommend. However, when you go abroad intending to work, to have a professional experience, that's a horse of a different color. You may not have the same exciting experience, the same fun experience, because you will be busy working. Not to mention the fact that many people who go to work in other countries like the United States, England, Canada, they don't really get the jobs they are looking for. Usually they get jobs that are not so exciting. They're jobs, it's work, you know, but maybe it's not so exciting and challenging as you want it to. So yeah, I know many people who have lived abroad to work, and they were not as happy as they thought they would be, because traveling abroad for a cultural experience is different from when you go to work, okay? I was an au pair. I lived in Boston for 2 years. I worked, but my exchange program was like 50-50. It was a cultural experience, and I traveled a lot. I did many exciting things. Working was not really on top of the list. I did work a lot, but I also got to study, and I also got to visit around the United States, so it was great. But I believe that had I gone just to study, I wouldn't have had the same experience. It wouldn't have been so fun, okay? Anyways, nice. Be, verb to be. You definitely need verb to be with this one. A far cry from. A far cry from is very different from something or someone. Completely different, my friend. Yes. Also very common. Here are some examples. That movie is a far cry from the book. The book is much better. Hello. So that movie is a far cry from the book, my friend. Read the book because the book is better. So it's completely different from the book. Now, it doesn't say it, but usually when you use a far cry from, the first thing you are describing, blah, 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 is a far cry from blah, blah, blah. The first thing is not usually a good thing, okay? I'm not saying it's a terrible thing, but it's not as good as you would like, okay? So that movie is a far cry from the book, completely different from the book. I believe the book is better. Next example. Alice's new apartment is a far cry from the house she used to live with her ex-husband. Oh well, so maybe the apartment she lives now is not as good compared to the house she used to live when she was married, okay? And final example, Andrew is a far cry from the idealistic lawyer he dreamed to become when he was at university. You know, this actually happens a lot. Lawyer, okay, Andrew, that's his name, yes. Andrew went to law school, and I think that when we go to university, we have dreams and, you know, we want to help the world, we want to save the world, but when we finish, when we go to the job market, things change. So today, Andrew is completely different from the dreams he had. He had this dream of the kind of lawyer he wanted to become. But today, nowadays, Andrew is a far cry from the idealistic lawyer he dreamed to become. And this happens a lot to lawyers. When we go to law, well, not me, but when students go to law school, they have this dream, this kind of lawyer they want to become, that helps people, that helps the world, that helps the poor, that helps the people get justice. But when they go to the job market, when they go to the corporate world, things change and they become a far cry from the amazing lawyers they wanted to become. And unfortunately, this happens to many people. I hope if you are a lawyer, I hope this hasn't happened to you. And I imagine you probably know someone that has had this experience. Hopefully not. Anyways, my friends, I want you to come back here in the comments and as usual, participate. Post your favorite idiom in the comments. Let me know here your favorite idiom, and you can also write an example. Remember, the best way for you to practice right now, you are passively you are receiving this information, so you are learning passively. If you come back in the comments and you write down what you remember, write down your opinion about the idiom, write an example with that idiom, you're turning this study moment into an active one. And that's my goal, okay? So if you enjoyed, as usual, hit the like button. That really helps the channel. And share this lesson with your friends. Other than that, have a lovely day or a lovely night. And I will see you tomorrow for another English lesson. Bye-bye.